and gentlemen, welcome to Wrestling Tonight. This is Hollywood and Connelly with a double biceps. It is in the contract a legal requirement every single time. We're getting flexed, outgunned by the guest today. Before we get to the guest, we've got the man to my left, so you could be to your right, depending on what side of the screen you're looking at. It is the co-host, the co-founder, the co-breather of air, the co-wearer of clothes, I've mixed that up, but that's all right. It's the code guy on the screen. it's the master of disaster, the king of sking, the count of Monte Cristo. It is my friend and yours. It is the winner of the Dave Stockbridge of the Year award, the illustrious award held by the illustrious man with the illustrious beard. It is none other than Dave Stockbridge. Welcome to your own show.
Well, thank you very much. A very, very warm welcome. As always, we have ourselves a very, very special guest on the podcast tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Lachlan Adair. Lachlan, so good to have you back on the podcast.
Yeah,
so good to have you back at AWE. It's very, very special for us. It's been a little while. I was looking back at the AWE annals just a little bit earlier, and it was July 2023 was the last time we saw you in AWE colours at the Adelaide Oval. So it's wonderful to see you back, bigger and better than ever. So how are you? Actually, you're leaner than maybe the last time we even spoke. So maybe bigger and better isn't necessarily a thing, but leaner and meaner might be. So how are you feeling? I mean, this is the Oceanic title. So I want to dig around a little bit about the Oceanic title and understand a little bit more, so that those people in the arm wrestling world get a sense and a glimpse as to the relevance of this title. But also, how are you feeling in yourself?
Yeah, generally feeling pretty good. I've just come off a 24-hour fast, which is pretty usual for me about this time out from comp, because I'm about to punish my stomach with the refeed. So I should be, 105, 106, maybe even 107 on the night.
What are you right now?
I haven't weighed myself. I think before the fast I was 105.
Okay. And in a 24-hour fast, might you lose a couple of kilos?
A couple of kilos, yeah, about 3, 4.
So what's the rationale behind that? Because I'm very aware that you don't do anything without very good cause. So this is not a fad. There'll be some science behind this.
There's a bit of a mix, yeah, sure. We get the feeling, and then we look for the thing on the internet, and then we find whatever research we're looking for that confirms our bias. So essentially what I think has happened is, typically when I diet, I go through phases where I'm absolutely ravenous and I'm bulking, and I can just eat. I don't have to think about it. And then my body just goes, actually, I've just had enough, and I can't do it. Something switches. I don't know what it is. There's nothing would have changed in my life. Boom, just nothing. And I start to struggle getting food in, and then I lean right out. I still maintain the strength and a lot of the size. When I go get scans, my body mass index, like my lean body mass, doesn't go down at all, despite my weight, like my kind of water content and obviously fat coming down. So yeah, I'm just feeling pretty good. So I'll be, big and bulky and ready on the day. But yeah, I like the fast because it kind of kicks me off into the new phase of it's time to
eat. Wow, it's super interesting. Has this changed as you've gotten older? Like when you were younger, could you just feel like you could eat and eat, and you weren't so easily satiated? But as you've gotten older, that's maybe changed a bit.
Yeah, big time. When I was a kid, like I've never been chubby, I've never been overweight. It's always been a struggle. I've been as big as 122 kilos, but that took a lot out of me. And it took enough to get there that I went never again. So what I guess I'm trying to do is, as I've gotten older, I'm trying to, I guess, push the ladder on what I can do with my own frame without having to add to it by putting more mass and more stress on my organs. And even when I was a young kid, as I'd gotten an understanding of what I was doing, I knew that as I got older, that eventually I would actually have to start coming down in size in order to preserve my longevity. So it's about trying to find that balance where I feel the best. And you remember, I work in construction, so being able to maintain weight now as well is, there's the thing. So I'm really busy. So naturally, I've found a leaner medium that I can maintain. And I've spent long enough at this weight now that I've moved into that strength, if that makes sense. Because I know when you drop down quickly and fluctuate, you don't move into the benefits of that as quickly. So,
have you found, in spite of being a lower body weight than maybe where you peaked out, that you're now stronger than what you were at that heavier weight?
well, I mean, lots of metrics around the way I'm measuring that has changed as well. Like I don't bench press anymore, and if I do, it's I'm doing 10, 15 reps. A lot of the general stuff I'm not doing, apart from lat work and like lat and back, and all of those numbers are the same as they were when I was 120. The only struggle I have is when I'm doing heavy seated rows. I don't have enough body mass leverage to be able to pull it into place. So I can't row it. Like if I have someone push me down and help me get into plus, then yeah, I can row it. But
I'm just picturing you getting flinged across the room.
yeah, that's fun. But yeah, so training, the metrics have changed, but the arm wrestling, I feel like the technique has improved quite a bit. And with the resurgence of my left hand, I've forgotten how good it is because I've got all of those fine motor skills because I'm left-handed. So it's so much smoother. With my right hand is smooth in arm wrestling, but what I've found now training my left arm again for a couple of weeks for the first time in like 4 years, that everything super smooth, and my numbers are skyrocketed. In a month, I put on an inch on my forearm, and it's pretty much catching up to my right. Like not so much in size as my right, but it's caught up in numbers pretty significantly. So, I'm in a good spot, but it moves differently. Like when you're left-handed, remember fascial lines, and we can kind of get all nerdy and technical. But like when I'm on the table with my left, I don't have to think ever. It's very autonomous and it's very smooth, and it's easy. And there's lots of different moves. Like there's things I can't do on my right. My left, I can do anything I want with it.
So how is it that was it due to injury that your right became what you were more known for, or is it that your right is somehow stronger even though you're left-handed?
Big money on the right hand.
Okay.
So, look, I'm lucky being one of those lefties that does, like it's probably a 50-50 split between me doing right-handed things and left-handed things. I don't, like even fine motor stuff, I can write with my right fairly legibly. It's much smoother with my left, but scissors, everything, tools, everything that I'm doing, left, right-handed, it's never mattered. So
you're pretty ambidextrous. I
kick with my right foot naturally. I box normal, but I can switch quite easily.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Left-handed, so.
How do you eat? Which hand do you hold the fork with?
It's funny. Fork is with my left, but knife is in my right. But when I use a chef blade, it's in my left.
Yeah.
I throw with my right, but when that gets sore, I just start using my left, and it's fine.
Are you naturally ambidextrous then, or have you taught yourself to be as good on both hands where you might feel deficient otherwise?
I actually don't understand the mechanisms of it, if it's just something I inherently have, or it's the fact it's just a mixture of being left-handed and my learning style. Very visual, and obviously a lot of things that I have and have done in my life are extremely physical, and everyone's right-handed, so I would emulate that. I guess is all I can kind of deduce. There might be more to it. I don't know, but yeah.
So you feel that like if you're giving your left as much attention as your right in terms of training and specificity and that type of thing, then your left would. It seems like your left would overtake your right.
Yeah, it's a higher potential for sure, and like even my left bicep, like it looks different to my right. Like my left has got much more of a peak.
Yeah.
With my right, it's longer and smoother.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So there's differences, and I think from like I was looking at this the other day with Hannah, the tendon in my left hand from being a chef for 8 years and just chopping with a heavy blade for that entire time. The tendons in my wrist on my left are thicker. And it's a whole hand. It's not chopped.
Yeah, that's helpful.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like obviously the potential of my left hand's greater, just for the pure fact that it's whole, I guess. But and I'm left-handed, so it would be interesting to see where I can take it. Now I'm in a position where I can now earn money off my left hand.
Yeah, very, very cool. And so tell us a little bit about the Oceania title. This is the title. You're the linear champion. This is the title that you're defending, that you've put up, because essentially this is a title that you've held for some time now, and haven't really seen a worthy opponent. Of course, your focus has been on your right, but recently your attention's turned to the left once again, and this is the title that you've had to bring to the table, and you thought that Brett Coots, being the AWE left-hand title, was a title holder, would be a worthy opponent.
Well, we have a bit of an interesting backstory between Brett and I, because officially I've never beaten him left-handed. So what had happened is he was the dominant guy left-handed for the longest time. He'd beaten me every single time until that point, while I was still relatively new. COVID hit, and then, I got a lot more right-handed opportunities, and then I got flown over for the Pavlo match, and then we saw Brett at Over the Top. And we pulled there, and then we've kind of seen each other casually, over the years, and pulled. And it was his opinion that I was too much. And he needed time. So now he's feeling healthy and he's feeling good, and I'm kind of in a spot where I can do this. It's an unproven thing. It's nothing officially has ever happened between. I've never beaten Brett officially. So I just had it because he gave it up, just because of what he felt on the practice table. So my popular opinion that I was the left-handed number one.
Okay, so this is very, very interesting, and we just saw footage of you on the table with Bowen Quintado, and of course we've been reviewing some of these old AWE matches in the lead up to this event, and really looking at some of Brett's older matches, and we saw Bowen Quintado and Brett Coots at Harrisville at the AWE event on Australia Day a year or so ago, and that was somewhat of a war. And then we see you on the table here with the same man, and we see you seemingly passing through with some degree of ease. Do you think much has changed in the last say 12 or so months that'd give you a sense that you're running up against some pretty stiff competition here?
Yeah. Brett is one of those guys that when he's in shape and he's had a good run of being in shape, like he hasn't been injured for a while, and when Brett hasn't been injured in a while, dude's an animal. So he's been healthy for quite some time, as far as I know. We do chat from time to time. And he says he feels good. So this has always been the version that we kind of always agreed upon that we wanted. It was like, no, we'll do the match when you're ready, and there's no rush. And we've always had an understanding that the title is, we don't know. So it was kind of holding space, if you will. Just going, yeah, I mean, I'll do it. Fine. But yeah, so I'm really keen to do this. I think it would be good for Brett and I. And yeah, I mean, I hope it's a war. I'm obviously going to win, but it being a war, that for me, for I guess for Brett and I, that would be amazing.
So let's go through the measurements. Brett's measuring 21 inches in the bicep at the moment. Where are you sitting?
Probably not far behind.
Yeah. Wow. Pretty even there. And I mean, Brett's got what, maybe 10 or so years. You're 36, he's 47, nearly 48. So now, and you would admit that you're getting stronger as time goes by. And is it fair to presume that perhaps the same's happening with Brett? He certainly feels that way.
Yeah, I totally believe it. I mean, look at everyone else, and he's in, for someone who's, how old is he? 46?
47, turning 48.
47. See, when you look at the other guys who are in the elites who are 47s, 48s, Brett looks tremendous.
Oh, yeah. I don't know of anybody else who's that age I haven't actually laid eyes in person on somebody of that age that is of that physicality. He is a force of nature. It's quite remarkable.
Yeah, and look, he's got that bicep. He stays in strong. That lock, I have to blast through it. I'm not mucking around with Brett. No.
we were mentioning that was maybe where Brett might struggle, is that he tends to have this, much like Matteo Arangi, he's a bit of a defensive puller. He tends to wait and see what his opponent will do first. And he's been keen to admit the same thing, that he will have to find a way to surge through initially to try and maybe grab some of that center if he's ever going to have a chance of getting inside. Is that how you see it as well?
I mean, having to control center against my left is troublesome for most people, because again, it's an arm that I can put my entire frame around very, very quickly. So, being able to bully me on center is one thing, but getting off the go at the right time, it's entirely another thing. So, I'm pretty good off the go these days. I'm not the fastest guy in the world, but I am pretty quick. My left is on it though. That's the thing. My left is very fast. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I was pretty close to beating him, a couple of years ago, but yeah, he's gotten stronger. So have I. But yeah, I think it's going to be a cracker of a match. I can't wait.
It's exciting. We absolutely cannot wait. And this will be at the Adelaide Oval, June 22nd. So if you are in Australia and you can make your way to Adelaide, you can still buy tickets now by going to diamondbackfc.com. There is a pay-per-view, so you can watch this event live. Now, there are 2 matches. They're about an hour and a half apart, but in amongst all of that is a lot for combat sports fans. There's cage Muay Thai, there's MMA, there's combat jiu-jitsu. So there's a lot for fight fans, strength fans to really sink their teeth into. It's 5 hours of entertainment. You can buy the pay-per-view right now on diamondbackfc.com if you can't get there in person. But for AWE fans that just want to see the matches, and they might want to see some of the behind the scenes, some of the pre-match interviews, some of the post-match analysis, there will be a 1-hour special of this event with both matches, featuring both of these title matches, which will premiere on YouTube on Wednesday after the event. So there's plenty of opportunities for AWE fans and fans of Lachlan Adair to tune into this event one way or another. You can see it live, you can see it in person, or you can wait until Wednesday and see a very special production of the event.
Cool.
Absolutely. That's going to be absolutely amazing. Cannot wait to see you two go at it. Left arm, as well as Brett and Matteo Arangi later on. What do you think on that match? What's your prediction for that?
It depends how hard I work Brett over. To be as fair as possible, if I can just flash Brett a whole, couple times, it should leave him fresh enough to be able to have a really good match with Matteo.
Oh, I noticed how you didn't pick a winner then.
No. I will. Stylistically, though, Matteo Arangi makes sense. Makes sense. That's a very difficult thing for a defensive puller. If you can't bully Matteo Arangi off the go, you're in a pretty bad spot. And I haven't been able to get out of it with my bicep and through my hook. When I've gotten stuck there, I have to drop my shoulder in from a pretty gross angle and start pressing. So, yeah, you got to get him off the go. But if you end up here, all you got is your shoulder. So good luck.
It is the danger. Both men are defensive pullers, and so it's easy to see them both kind of sitting back and waiting on their back pressure to see what their opponent's going to do to try and advance their cause. And so we could well see a stalemate in this very defensive mode for some time, until it could be just a match of attrition. Whoever's cardio is going to stand up to the test, or whose lactic acid's going to build quicker, or it could be one of those.
It could be. I mean, that's not a problem for me. I use a drill all day, every day. Grooves, just 20 centimeter holes that are, 2 centimeters thick into concrete like this. Yeah, endurance. Sorry, Brad. I know he works in construction, but yeah. It's different when you're on nothing but drills all day.
Matthew Warigi has jumped in. He says, "Who's that on the screen? I can only see forearms."
Gents, I have to jet.
No worries at all. Thank you for jumping in.
Yeah, we'll see you soon, June 22nd, Adelaide.
Absolutely.
Over.
Thanks, mate. Good to
Ladies
see you.
and gentlemen, there you have it. The Oceanic champion, Lachlan Adair.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks.